The photographic retouching business has survived a great many changes in the past 25 years. Conventional methods of chemically bleaching transparencies have been replaced with sophisticated computers for color correcting and improved darkroom techniques. But the craft of manual retouching is still very much alive. Rene Fonteboa has been retouching photographs for over 22 years. His experience in retouching, both manually and using current darkroom techniques, is the reason that Dean Collins has brought Rene the final image of Heavenly Porsche. Collins has asked for some minor changes that will require several different methods of retouching. Rene Fonteboa explains.
Well, first order of business is to decipher the instructions and kind of break it down into two basic areas. One is techniques that are going to be used in the darkroom, and the other techniques that are going to be used in the application of dyes, which means blending certain areas after the film has been processed. We're talking about duping techniques in which we have the application of masks and dodging, and after that we just kind of take it to the table after it's been processed, and we blend out the different areas.
With the instructions clearly labeled on an acetate cover, Rene begins the process of darkroom retouching.
First thing we want to be concerned with in darkroom techniques is that everything has to be registered. Everything has to be punched in registration, so that when we take the amber film, for example, and we put it on over the transparency, we cut it out precisely to where we want it, and then we turn that into a litho film, a black and white negative. We do what is called a window and a holdout mask, and we use these accordingly. We hold out the areas that we don't want to that we want to delete, and we then use the window mask to project and kind of blend in the areas that we want to have there.
Through a series of multiple exposures and the use of 2 additional contrast masks, a superior duplicate transparency is achieved. Rene can now move on to the final stage.
Well, now that we had finished doing all the duping and darkroom techniques, now we come back to doing some of the manual retouching, and we use a great deal of that still. It's something that we can easily apply in blending areas that we have already photocopied. There's a little bit of retouching in those areas and blending a little further, I would say about 10%, just so that it's a perfect job.
The results of the retouching work by Rene can be easily seen in these close-ups. The license plate brackets and 2 small highlights near the headlamps have been removed through the use of darkroom techniques. On the side panel of the car, we can see that the main specular highlight has been refined to a clean line, and a highlight from the back seats inside the car has been removed by Rene through manual retouching. The final retouch transparency is indeed a heavenly Porsche.